Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the Galley La Podcast. It's a break week for the chapters, so we're going to be talking about the last couple of anime episodes 1061 and 1062, which covers Sanji and Zoro's fight against Queen and King, which a lot of people have been saying are some of the best fights in the whole series. And with me today is I'm Geboss, and joining me is Akainu Fanboy. And yeah, let's just get into it. So the first one was Sanji's fight with Queen, the conclusion of it, and we're both admittedly big Sanji fans, so it was good to see this fight given what it deserves.
Absolutely, and also please like and subscribe if you haven't, if you're a Sanji or a Zoro fan. But I would say that just with the Sanji fight, first I'd say the lead up with just Sanji and Zoro fighting together, I thought was really awesome. I thought the scene where they added in where Sanji's fighting King and Queen at the same time was phenomenal for Sanji's standpoint, because they only talk about it, but then they actually add in the fighting scene. The soundtrack and everything was just beautiful. But yeah, leading up to the Sanji fight, I really enjoyed kind of like the flashbacks they did with Jirma, but they were kind of like new flashbacks, of just showing how brutal and lethal they are,
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes, especially the Jirma can be gaggy with the hearts and everything, I know Judge is less gaggy, but it's kind of, I wish they did that more in One Piece. You can keep the gaggy elements, but you can also see the brutal, lethal elements to it too. And that was something I really appreciated off the bat,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of forget with that they are kind of this tyrannical group, and it kind of makes sense why. Especially there's a shot where you see like all these crosses from the dead people that they've killed.
Yes.
So yeah, it's good to see Sanji rejecting that.
Yeah, I mean, even when they were first introduced on Broccoli Island, right? It was kind of brittle. They were just butchering civilians and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we kind of lost that. A little bit, right? I mean, you still get it with just like how awful they are as people, but we kind of lost the genocidal aspect of it. And I could say, I'd say Queen v Sanji may be the best fight, not just with the fighting per se, even though it was beautiful. I kind of like, it was just the culmination of his character,
Mm-hmm.
I felt they just hit all the points, all the flashbacks, especially the new flashback with Zeph and the Straw Hats, which is beautiful, really heartwarming. And then you have Reiju saying you're so kind, in connection with Sora, and you have him going back and forth thinking, because he's literally fighting his brothers all at once, And I just thought that was really, I don't know, it's just brilliantly done. Like, just the build up from Whole Cake to here,
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I just wanted to say about in 1061, in the manga, it wasn't as clear that Queen was the one that hit the girl, and I like that they clarified it more in the anime, because there was still that debate on whether or not Sanji did do it, or if he jumped to a conclusion that Queen did it. But no, we see Queen do it.
Yeah, we saw Queen do it, and that was a nice clarification. And they were kind of there because and Sanji and Queen were just kind of moving around, thrashing around, and I thought that was really interesting in itself too. So I thought that was all really well done and everything though. A lot of this. So I will say. Maybe the only critique I have with the fight is lack of lightning, if you will.
Yeah, I was gonna say that that Ifrit Jambe, compared to the manga, it's in the manga it looked like it was more like electricity, but this is more just blue fire. You do see some electricity in it, but yeah.
Right. But I did enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. I just the kick combo too. It was pretty well done. And again, I'd say my only other negative. I wish Queen kind of went more vertically up through the ceiling rather horizontally out of the side of Onigashima, because I thought it would be more impressive that way. But it was cool, kind of how like the island got shook up and everything. You know, I thought that was pretty great. But kind of like a weird little thing I do want to mention with the fight, though. I thought it was just kind of interesting how Queen never used Black Bug, and that was basically the joint combo move that Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji all used on Whole Cake Island to break Perispera's wall. So, which I kind of thought was weird how, like, since he has all three of their powers, he could have used that power too. That's kind of like his ultimate, if you will. But I just kind of thought that was interesting, though. Just something I thought of the other day, which I didn't even think of when reading the manga.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even remember that part of the story, but it's been a while since I've gone back to Whole Cake. But I'll take your word for it. But yeah, that would have been an interesting thing to combine the powers like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or have Reiju's powers. I still wish that was a thing, but it's all good.
I mean, he kind of had Reiju's powers. I mean, it is kind of weird, like, in this whole thing that he didn't use a lot of his poison stuff. But I think we talked about that when we were reviewing the chapters.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, so aside from that, like, did you have, like, any more closing thoughts, like, kind of on that anime episode? Did you think it made the fight between Queen and King, I'm sorry, Queen to Sanji better? Or, yeah, I would just, like, say that, yeah. What were your parting thoughts on that fight?
I mean, in terms of kind of, what do you call it? Like, I think we got more impact with the anime. Like, we could see the heaviness of the kicks and stuff. It's kind of hard to convey that with just the manga. But yeah, I would say some of this stuff looks even better than, like, or on par with Film Red. But yeah, it makes you think if One Piece was a seasonal anime. Though we might still be on Dressrosa at this rate if it was seasonal.
Right.
But
now the shittiest animation at all time.
Yeah. But yeah, leading from, I just wanted to bridge the two episodes together. So I did think that this really did make Sanji look powerful, but compared to the level of hype that the Zoro fight got in terms of the scale of it, it makes Sanji look completely like nothing.
Yeah, and I think, like, well, obviously there's, like, a bias with Toei and with that kind of, and I'd say Oda himself, and I would also say they kind of emphasize different components of it too, where Zoro doesn't have a meaningful backstory. He doesn't have meaningful character development. I'm not trying to say that as a hater. It's just kind of fact, right? And so you make up with it for the over the top attacks, basically. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of his backstory, with like Kozaburo, but I think that. Yeah, the 1062 was just all action with him and King.
Yeah.
And although I did, in terms of the flashbacks, because you get to see King's flashback with Kaido, with him being rescued from Punk Hazard. I liked this more. I felt like we got a little bit more of Kaido's character. Maybe that's just due to the voice acting. And it's not limited to, like, what we can, like, all of this stuff was just kind of on one page in the manga, and this was a bit more drawn out, so we had time to digest it more. But yeah, but I will say that the whole final attack with Zoro and King, where King's launching all like the lava dragons and everything, was really, really good. Although, again, in the manga, I feel like Sanji and Zoro's fights were comparable. Like this, this like it doesn't even look like One Piece. It's like it's almost like Fate or Dragon Ball Z or something like that in terms of like the scale of it.
And they just have different fighting techniques too. Like Sanji's is more compact, quick, right? You know, close quarters. And Zoro, you're right, it's kind of like a DBZ-esque type of fighting style. You know, right? And I do think like there's an element in there. I will say I was disappointed they didn't add more to Zoro's backstory, just kind of leading up to just that episode you were referencing, you know, because I'd say like kind of this moving scale for Zoro fans, like Wano's going to be Zoro's arc. Okay, it's not going to be his arc, but at least he's going to have a good flashback because that's Zoro's dad in that cell with the young Yamato. Okay, but it's not that, but like let's say in the anime they're going to add more to it, don't worry.
Yeah, I feel like
we're not going to get, you know?
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get a lot more of the post Onigashima stuff in the anime, because there was just so much that was set up that wasn't paid off, which we talked about in our chapter and our water reviews. But yeah, I did like at the very end with the to be continued, they did the Zoro Z on it. That was really cool. But yeah, I mean, in terms of animation, I think this is like One Piece's peak right now, and this this makes me even more excited to see what like Luffy versus Kaido is gonna be like, because there was a video that I watched today from King of Lightning where he was going over like Oda's statements that Gear 5 was based on Tom and Jerry. And there was an animator from Warner Brothers, which owns Tom and Jerry, that tweeted that he submitted his animations for One Piece. So,
okay. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's to be assumed that that's going to be the style that they're going for with this.
Yeah. That's
yeah. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like. They're just dumping all their money into this right now.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that people have complained about the Dragon Ball Z-ifying, if that's the right way to put it, of the Wano arc. In terms of scale for stuff. That would be my only complaint with the Zoro episode. But besides that, these are really good episodes.
Yeah, again, I think like I don't really feel jealous of the Zoro fight in that respect because my boy didn't get the DBZ treatment for Sanji's fight, right? You know? It was just kind of a good classic Sanji boom bam pop, right? And everything, you know?
Yeah.
And is yet really well animated and everything. Just him running on Queen's tail and everything, like that was great. One little gripe I have with it is I wish they what's the word I'm looking for? They had the little Germa, like you know, like interloop in between, you know, instead of like the bounty posters. I actually thought that would have been cool. And I know the whole point is him trying to get away from it, but it's still kind of pertinent to the episode, though, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the other part I did like, he did rescue the mouse the whole time he's fighting Queens, keeping the mouse safe, and then...
Oh yeah.
The mouse and the mouse is a phenomenal link back to Whole Cake Island yet again in his flashback for making for rats and how his brothers beat the shit out of him for cooking for rats, and all of his brothers are trying to beat him in the form of Queen and trying to defeat the rat too again. So like I said, the fight's really deep and symbolic, and I just freaking love it. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I think you agree with me that I prefer the Sanji episode, just because, like you said, it fits in a lot with his character that has been developed, whereas Zoro's is a lot more spectacle. But yeah.
And I would say Luffy is gonna be, okay. Luffy's a well-written character. I wouldn't say he's gonna be at the level. You really get as much of the emotional impact with Kaido versus Luffy from the manga, I guess. I wouldn't say it had an emotional impact, to be honest. I thought it was a cool fight. I didn't really feel that emotion there, like I got with like Rob Lucci v Luffy, you know, or I'd say even to affect Doflamingo versus Luffy, you know, right? So yeah, Luffy's well developed. I just don't think that development plays out well in the fight as much, you know, the emotion, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
but, who knows? They could change it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be excited to see it.
Sure.
Yeah, but that your closing thoughts?
No, just like and subscribe, people. We appreciate your feedback. Leave a comment. We love hearing from you and everything, you know. And it's been a joy doing this channel.
Yep. And we will be back next week with the chapter review. So yeah, like and subscribe, and we will see you later.
Peace.